A time when beach town populations swell like the ocean, and those of us who live here plan a vacation away from here. Now, something that nobody thinks about making travel plans is the taxes that you got to pay on the way.
But pay you will. Whether you go by plane, train, automobile, or Uber, you will end up paying your share. It's just the way things are. We're used to it. But that wasn't always the case. Secrets of the Eastern Shore author Jim Duffy is here to tell us about the very first time that one of our states tried to put such a tax on travelers. And spoiler alert, the idea didn't go well.
It did not go well at all.
And we're talking 1820s.
1820. So obviously travel's very different then. It was like steamboats were 10 years old. They were basically brand new. The roads were disasters. Nobody could really get anywhere on roads. There were some roads that were like private roads, like companies ran the roads and you had to pay the company. And people understood that if a company like a steamboat provided a service, that you should pay for that service. Yeah. But in the spring of 1821, a legislator in Delaware got the bright idea to charge a tax on steamboat ticket purchases and to charge a tax on toll road things, which sounds perfectly normal to us now, but was brand new then. So this was all happening on the upper Chesapeake Bay. There used to be a place called Frenchtown that was a big landing place for steamboats. It doesn't really, there's nothing there anymore. And people would then ride this private road up to Newcastle and then get on another boat and go to Philadelphia. What he wanted to do with this tax money was create a first-class university, the University of Delaware. Oh. He wanted to do this in Newark, where he was from. All heck broke loose when he decided to do this. There were like public meetings everywhere. Up in Newcastle, they burned him in effigy. Oh. The newspaper in Wilmington said this was the first public protest in the history of our community. Down here in like Sussex and Kent counties, there were big public meetings. They called them like vile and evil and terrible. They actually had like really good arguments. They were like, so what are you going to do next? Charge me for walking through Delaware? Is one thing they were doing. They're like, this is unconstitutional. They were like, what about all the other sailboats that are taking passengers? Why are you picking on the steamboats? And then they're like, in a very modern sounding argument, they're like, you're going to build a college for like rich white kids when we don't even have a public school system? What are you talking about? So it's kind of like good arguments, and they're kind of like very modern sounding arguments, and they all worked. The protests got repealed. The law got repealed the next year. I wish that they had the creativity that the people over in England had. In England, when they tried to do this in the 1840s, a thing broke out that was called the Rebecca riots, and it's after the biblical character of Rebecca. Okay. I don't really understand. Right. But a bunch of guys in drag took over the toll booths, like armed took over the toll booths and refused to pay their taxes. We weren't quite that creative here.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. We
Don't
can
give anybody any ideas.
We can think about taking that approach next time.
Oh my goodness.
Well, Jim Duffy, that was a interesting story as always. Thank you so much for coming in on this Throwback Thursday.